Good Lord. All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crafts with John. A little bit of a delay today, I think, on the screen here. I did a reset of the computer yesterday. I did some work on the graphics card. Hopefully, we have better audio, better video today. We'll cross your fingers and see. There will be no YOLO yet until I get this problem knocked out. I'm not going to do a YOLO. So I'll get back to the YOLO as soon as we can, for sure. And I'm thinking. Actually, I think it was Darksider's idea. I think we should do it like this. Instead of one roll a day, why don't we YOLO in the morning and do one shooter a day? So just come in here. I'll go right to the table. We'll do one full shooter, 0 to hero, instead of one roll. That way we don't knock out half the room with my first roll like we did last time. So we'll probably reset the whole thing and do that. So that'll be the plan there. So good morning and welcome. I said this in the earlier show, in the Daily Paycheck show. I'm at the top of the hill on this cold that I've got. I think today's going to be the worst day, and then it'll be. I can already tell fever's breaking and all that kind of stuff. So I apologize in advance. My voice is crappy. The nose isn't good and all that kind of stuff. So whatever. It may not be my best sound, but it'll be my best work. So good morning. Ooh, Sideshow here. Good morning, Sideshow. Good to see you, Ben. Yeah, I actually was telling everybody yesterday, I started watching a bunch of your videos again. For some reason, like your videos, I don't know how freaking YouTube works, but sometimes my feed is all you, and sometimes it's all other people. I don't know what the hell it's doing, but yeah, when it comes back in again, I'm like, oh, good, I got more Chris stuff to watch. So I'm glad that you're here because I think we got something to talk about today that's going to actually, impact you a little bit. Let's move on. Let's go here and do a quick recap of the paycheck. So far on Prove It Week, we're 1 and 3, I guess, right? The skill switch was fine. The Storm lost a bunch yesterday, just awful rolling, just like picking everything off. Today, the Butterberg, awful. We picked everything off. The first 5 or 6 shooters were PSOs or buckshots. Like everything you could do was bad. I buckshotted 2 numbers. I had 2 come out losers. And we had to fight back from $400 plus down to make it work. We made it work, but it was work. It was a job today. It wasn't fun. It was a job. That strategy has legs to it. It's not a home run hitter. It's a grinder for sure. It sets you up for a nice little home run, but there's a lot of risk in the early stages of it. So I think there's other ways to get 3 hits and play for free that are better than that one. In other words, we're trying for 3 hits to get the 64 across, basically. And you've got 150 on the don't, you got the 160 out there. There's better ways to do that, for sure. And namely, you can go out there with like the Lagerman from Casino CEG. The Lagerman is only 110 as far as an investment goes. That's a way lower investment than the 150 lay that we lost twice. I'd rather take that chance and get my 2 hits that way and be out of it. So there's other ways to get where we're trying to get to. So we'll keep playing with that some today. But anyway, it's been fun. It's been a fun week. We start the real thing next week. Now, next week, let's actually move ahead. I'll tell you in a minute what's going on here. So the come out roll is going to be this. Reminder, Friday Night Fights is Old Bay versus Buckeye. And another reminder about the meetups. So the September meetup here in Seattle, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 15th, 16th, 17th of September. We'll be private tables at 2 local casinos of mine. We'll have gameplay in the garage. You guys can do Daily Paycheck with me. I can deal to a group of people. We'll get some practice in, all that kind of stuff. We have a Mariners game potentially on Sunday if you want to do it. Ian Olsen, Double Deuce Craps, and I are working on details. So as they emerge, I'll let you know as far as where hotels are, rates, and that kind of thing. Craps for the Cure in Vegas, November 11th to the 13th. The 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be live at CEG in the mall. So again, I'm working on hotel rates for us there as well. So stay tuned on both of these things. I'll give you more details as soon as I possibly can on those things. And you're right, Ron, it's not a rematch. I thought it was a rematch, but it's not, between Old Bay and Buckeye. All right, next up on the come out roll is this. It is hard hat time. Friday was going to be the vote. I think Saturday is the first. I don't know. The 1st of July is like Saturday. So we're going to vote on Friday for the hard hat. And here's so far the nominees I've gotten. Joe from Craps Master Journey, highly deserving, right? Craig from Old Bay Craps. Craig deserves it, honest to God, because of not because of his craps play, although I do like the Beat Old Bay series. Craig is like me, right? Like I should be doing, putting his fat ass out there and working out in front of you every day. I know he's trying to be funny with it, but honestly, that's commendable, right? Props to you, man. That's awesome. So Craig from Old Bay is up there. Cheer from Midmo Yo with the Spin the Wheel of Craps. He's doing a bunch of things to grow his channel. Chris from Sideshow Gamble is doing non-craps related things that are pretty damn important. And he's putting craps videos out like that he filmed ahead of time. So he's deserving. Brian from HCS, he's been nominated a couple of times, hasn't gotten a lot of votes for some reason, but Brian, what more do you need, man? That guy is putting in time. I played with them at the live table. They filmed when I was there. I'll tell you what, man, it takes a lot to film a live craps game and edit that video down. He's saying it takes him 12 hours to cut 1 hour of video. I believe him. It's hard work. For sure, Ed rolled to win with all the interviews he's doing. And Brian, holy roller. I mean, we don't give Brian enough credit either, but Brian's putting in some work. So there's the nominees so far. I need to pare it down to 4 by Friday. So get me your pre-votes in. You can shout people out if you want to in the Hard Hat channel in Discord. DM me if you want to, or you can drop me an email, john@procraps.net, who you think the Hard Hat ought to go to. But there's the nominees as it stands here on a Wednesday. We'll do the final vote on Friday. So let's pare this down to 4 people. Why 4? It's easier, number 1. And number 2, YouTube only allows 4 options in the poll. So that's why we do it that way. So there's that. Now, I want to address a couple things. So I've got a few comments that I want to pull up here today and really talk through. So one comment that I got yesterday, and this is in relation to the Storm video. This comes from Darksider, who's always active in chats. He and I email quite a bit. He's a good dude. And we don't agree on everything, which is fine. I know he and Myopia have disagreed on a few things, and that's fine too. I want to read you this comment from him, and then we're going to talk about like my reaction to it and just kind of the truth and fallacy of the matter. He says, John, if a player gets beat twice by a shooter with passes on the point with the Storm, you stop. If there's a 7, till there's a 7 out, if a player continues to buckshot a pass trend, if a player continues to buck a pass trend, then they deserve to lose every penny. He's talking about me going back out. He said, this is the problem with mechanical play, regardless of circumstance. Second note he sent to me was, if you keep playing a heater pass trend, then you deserve to lose. How about playing smart? Now, again, the insinuation here is that I'm playing dumb. I want to address all that. There's so much to unpack in that quote there. When I do the daily paychecks, and eventually when I go ahead and do the stop loss zero show, where my intention is to run a strategy to zero, not win with it, there's a reason why I play mechanically. Okay, A, most players do. B, most players who come up with strategies, or most strategists, think their strategy is going to work, right? So you got to play it. I got to play it as written. You got to see the holes. If I dodge bullets, if I'm out there doing the matrix, every time I see a 7 or 2 7s, I get out of the way. And then the strategy, you can't see the strategy work. What you're seeing in that circumstance is me thinking that I can outsmart the game and make a move based on what I'm seeing on the table. While there may be truth in that, or while there may be goodness in that, that's not the purpose of what I'm doing. The purpose of what I'm doing is showing you the strategy. I want to give it every chance to get picked off by the holes. You got to see where the holes are. Okay. Then you can make the decision to dodge the holes if you want to. I'll point it out to you, but you got to see the thing get plucked by all those weird circumstances that can never happen. Strategists make strategies. Oh, this will never happen. Well, guess what? I make it happen every freaking day. So I do the show for the purpose of showing you where the holes are, what happens when you hit the holes, can you come back after the holes get hit, right? That's the point of why I play mechanically on both the paycheck and eventually on on the stop loss zero show. There's a purpose behind why I do what I do. So that's the reason why. And I know that, Jen's asked me to play the way I would play, like, dodge the bullet, whatever, read the table, all those things. I can't do that. As an educator, I can't do that. As an educator, I think my first role of responsibility is to show you the strategies as written, play them out as written, let the dice do what they're going to do. I think that's important for everybody to see, because I can say it a million times. I can say that you're a loser, your strategy sucks. All the videos I put out that say the same thing, it means nothing if you don't watch a strategy get picked. If you don't watch me destroy a strategy, my words mean nothing. You've got to see it happen. And that's why I do it. It's important to me to play them straight up. Okay. Now, I can point out during the rollouts, here's a point in time, folks, where you might want to not come back on the don't. Here's a point in time, folks, where you might want to go in heavier up on the line. Here's a point in time, folks, where you might want to hammer the don't with a press because you're seeing the trend or the streak. I'll point that out to you, but I won't actually do it. I'm going to play it straight up. And I think it's an important thing. Now, the other piece of it, he says here in the end, about the mechanical piece, right? This is the problem with mechanical play, regardless of the circumstances. And he says, if I get picked off twice on the don't, get out, wait till the next shooter. That to me, and I disagree with that on one level, which is this, math. Okay, the math don't care about you dodging a bullet. And we have to be honest about this. And I think I get it. In the moment, I got $1,000 in the rail. I've lost $200 on the don't to the same shooter. I'm not going to give him I'm not giving him any more money. Like I'm in a bad trend, right? When you're in a bad trend, the rule should be bet low in a bad trend, bet high in a good trend for you, right? You should pull back a little bit, right? I agree with that. However, the dice don't know, right? Ultimately, if you back off for 2 rolls and you wait 50 rolls to go back out again, and you're back out for 2 rolls, you're still back out for 2 rolls, right? You're going to lose 1/6 of every don't pass come out roll. Whether the shooter's hot or not, that's going to go down. If you wait 50 rolls between them, or you take 50 rolls in a row, you're still losing 1/6. You're just delaying when it's going to happen, right? A shooter could pick you off twice. You can wait for him to roll his 50 rolls. Next shooter comes out, you go back out again. That guy picks you off twice too. There's no guarantee that the next shooter is going to be worse or better, right? I prefer to just let it happen. Let the streak resolve itself. I think through smart betting, you can overcome a bad streak and hammer a good streak if you just ride it through, if you have the bankroll to do it. I think the bankroll is the key there. So I don't necessarily agree with pulling out. I'll pull down, I'll pull back, but I'm not going to just completely dodge, right? That's just and that's me. Darksider can do it the way he wants to do it. A lot of people do that, right? The table's hot, the table's cold. I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out. Cool. Again, we said it last week. Play the way you want to play, right? Go down. I'm going to go down swinging. I'm going to go down with, hey, we got picked off 3 times in a don't. I'm going to keep my bets as low as possible. And when it starts to come back, and it will come back, bam, 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 I'm going to raise those bets up and start beating the good streak. It's the way I do it. Waylon does it with the don't's getting beat. I'm going to ladder. I'm going to ladder. I'm going to ladder. He ladders up in the bad times. Darksider wants to run away in the bad times. All 3 of us are right. All 3 of us are wrong. There's no good way to do it. The dice don't give a crap what you're doing. That's an important thing to remember. The dice don't care. Okay. You're going to lose 1/6 of those come out rolls. Shit run or go blind. You're going to lose 40% of your don't pass bets. Shit run or go blind once the point is set. That's a fact. You're going to lose 40% of the don't pass bets with odds once a point is established. You can't fight that. Whether you're not betting or whether you're betting, it's going to happen either way. You're just delaying it. So I think do what you want to do, right? And I think it's an important thing to know. The math doesn't care over the course of a long time. And I've proven this so many times, right? 10,000 rolls, right? You may not be 10,000 rolls in an exact sitting there at the table, but today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, today, an hour wait, coming back in, you're still seeing 10,000 rolls. You're just putting gaps in there. And the gaps, they may hide you from some bad stuff during that period of time. Doesn't mean the bad stuff won't still happen. So I don't worry about that so much. I just don't. And I know Darksider is going to come back and give me a couple of things. Let me put this out here. And you're right? You're saying it wasn't about come out the roll, the point winners. And again, if you believe in the math of this, or the like drunk guy explains would say, the probabilities of this, right? The come out winners you will lose 1/6 of. The points, you're going to lose 40% of those points. You know, and I know, the fire bet rarely gets hit, right? The 3, 4, 5 point fire bet rarely gets hit, right? Most shooters don't make 3 points. You start seeing a shooter make 2 points or 3 points. If you believe on the other side of this thing, like what's about to happen or what's due, that's the time to be in there, not be out of there. Follow what I'm saying? So you could be reading the table and saying, well, this is happening, let me get out, or this happened, and I know that this is probably not going to happen based on the history of the world. Let me go heavier on that. That's the DGE way of doing it. You can attack that same trend that you're going to run from. And I think, again, are you both right? Yeah. Are you both wrong? Yeah. Does the math care? No. Over the course of time, it all evens out. Just a matter of when you're there. I think that's the thing. I have very rarely seen 6 or 7 passes in a row. I mean, it happens, but it's so rare. It's so very rare that happens. And and again, what I'll do, that's table minimum bets for me. I'm not going out there table minimum max odds when I'm seeing 5, 6, 7 in a row. I'm going to be table minimum, ride it out, and when we get the miss, then we start going in the positive direction. I'm definitely a minimum go high in that case. So again, it's all up to you. I said this last week. Win or lose the way you want to win or lose. You just got to know what's going to happen. Like, you got to know the math. Like, the dice don't care, the math don't care. You're going to end up going down either way, right? If this shooter makes 3 passes and you decide to jump out and wait for the next shooter could just as easily make 3 passes on you, right? Waiting doesn't matter. It just, whatever happens, happens. And that, you guys got to be aware of that. You just got to be aware of the fact that just because you're not playing doesn't mean you're winning. It just means you're not losing now. And that's the most important takeaway. You're not winning, you're not losing now when you're not playing. 5 count, same thing. You're not losing now. On the 6th roll, you put your money out and then you lose. Dice don't give a shit. That's my point. I'm not saying right or wrong here, just that opinion of it. And I think you just have to realize that the math is the math, the longevity of the rolls, the long rolls that we see, that's a real thing. So there's that. The next thing I want to talk about is this. And this ties in with yesterday's conversation from Jacob at Wager Me This. Jacob had put a live video out, and he said this before, and I want to make sure that we address this really, really directly, because I think this is one thing where he and I largely agree, but on this point, I think we have a little bit of a disagreement here. He says, why are you guys talking about building a bankroll? I have a series coming. I'm going to build a bankroll. He says, I don't get it. What are you trying to do? What's the point of having more money to gamble with? And then he makes this great follow-up. Do something real with your money. Like, he's like, I go out and win $300. My wife and I get an $80 steak. I win $300. New rims on the car, right? I win $300. It's going to be, better Christmas for the kids. That's the way Jacob is looking at his bankroll, right? Which is fantastic. I think that's such great earthly advice. We could all learn from that. Okay. My retort back to this, why am I trying to build a freaking bankroll? And I want to win meaningful money. Okay. When my bankroll was low, when all I had in the 401g account was $1,000 and all I could afford to buy in with was $300, I had to settle for $50 wins, because you can, but it's hard to turn 300 into 600 to double your, it's really hard to do that. $300, 250, 115 winnings, that's a meaningful win, right? If you're buying it for 300 and you're doing the smart thing and bugging out at 20%, it's $50, right? That's not a meaningful win. People have said all the time, why would you go to the casino and walk with $50? Well, if you're building a bankroll, you have to, right? Why build a bankroll, Jacob? I build a bankroll because I want to play with more meaningful bet sizing. So if I can build my bankroll from 1,000 to 5,000, now I can bring 1,000 to the table and not worry about my bank. I can buy it for 1,000 comfortably. And now my win goal is 250 to 300. That's a meaningful number. I can turn 1,000 into 250 better than I can turn 300 into 250, right? So I build a bankroll so I have a bigger hammer to go to the casino with to make meaningful wins, so I can do the steak dinner thing. When we talk about my daily paycheck show and where I hope to be at some point, I'd like to build a bankroll of $100,000, a real one in the account. Get that thing back up where it should be so that I can go to the casino with 5K and not worry about it. 5K would be meaningless to me at that point. And my win goal for the day would be $500 to $1,000. That's a meaningful win goal, right? Turning 5,000 into 500, like I would turn 500 into 50 or $60. Same thing. Now that $500 to me is a meaningful thing. I can do dinners. I can go to shows. I can fly to Alabama and see y'all, right? That's the reason why I built a bankroll. I want to have a bigger spread so I can win more meaningful money quicker, so I can do the fun things. And I think you need a bigger bankroll to do it. I think Ken and I have both proven this. You cannot make a daily paycheck of a meaningful amount, $250, $300 or more, when you're buying in for $1,000. You just can't. You can win $100, $150. Sometimes you catch fire and win $800. That's great. Generally speaking, it doesn't happen. You're going to eke and you're going to lose $250. You're going to whatever. Buy in for more, bet black chips, win meaningful money, and get out. That's the reason why, Jacob, I want to build a bankroll. It's not for ego. It's not to have retirement money. It's not to not gamble with it. It's so I can win more meaningful amounts later. I want to play with blacks all the time. I don't want to play with $15. I don't want to sweat $66, right? I want to sweat $660. I want to do a skill $660 every day and walk with $500. That's what I want to be able to do. That to me is why I build the bankroll. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, everybody. It's an important distinction to make, I think, between being a gambler, right, and being a player. And I think that's kind of where I'm drawing my line is I want to be a player, not a gambler, and I want to play with bigger chips. So I got to build a bankroll so I can do that without worrying about anything. And that's what I think it means to me. So if my bankroll, like it is right now, affords me the ability to go out to the table with $3,000 or $4,000 on a buy-in, it does. But if I lose that, right, I've only got 1 or 2 or 3 cracks at that. I don't have 20 cracks at that. And I want to regularly go to the casino and win that dinner money. I want to win that show money. I want to buy tickets to the Sphere in Vegas. I want to come to Biloxi. That's the reason why. I want bigger money. So there it is. That's it. It's greed. Ultimately, it's greed. And I'm okay with admitting that. I want to win big money, but I'm not going to sit out there with $1,000 and try the same strategy mechanically, like Darksider says, for 6 hours and make it work. No, I want to do a decent strategy for 15, 20 rolls and get the hell out of there. And I think you need big bankroll to do that. That's my reason for that. So hope that makes sense, everybody. Hope that that's a good explanation for why I would disagree with Jacob on that one point, and why I think bankroll is so important, right? Of all the things, the 7 is your enemy, on the right side, time is your enemy. Time is your number one. Your number one enemy is the longer you're there, the more they're going to take. And I think that the show that I'm about to start, that Stop Loss Zero, is going to show you how bad time can be. Time is going to be the thing that whips us out. So there it is. I'm going to go back a screen here because Darksider has said something interesting. You can prove with WinCraps that, one more screen there, that black and white, I hear you. I hear you. Here's what's going to happen in WinCraps though, and I've done this. And I will prove this to you and everybody else next week when we start doing the Stop Loss Zero shows. If I do the Storm as is, no mechanical play, right? It goes to 0 against my rolls in I think it goes to 0 in 350 rolls. Okay. But I think 350 is when it goes down. Something like that. It goes to 0. If I put the logic into WinCraps, this is after 2 points made, stop betting to the next shooter. It goes to 0 in 1,500 rolls. If I say do it after 1-7, it goes to 0 in 600 rolls. Okay. It still goes to 0. It just goes to 0 tomorrow. It doesn't go to 0 right now. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, you're going to win more often. You're right. If you stop playing, you're going to lose less in the moment. Over time, it doesn't matter. Over 50,000 rolls, you're still going to go to 0. You're just going to go to 0 in longer stretches. And if in those long stretches you play better, you play smarter, you can pick up more paychecks along the way, but you're still going to run it down to 0. That's just the way it is. And I can't overstate that enough. When you're playing, if you're pulling money back, right, like we talk about, regress down, take your paycheck and run, take your paycheck and run. You can pick up 15 paychecks along the way, but you're still going to have a net negative at the end, right? I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that's how it works, right? I've done it. I've done the math just like you have, right? Yeah, stick to your win goal and get out. This is why, and let me also say this, because everybody has to hear this too, because you're right about this, but you're also, we got to be careful about this, right? 20% win goal, 10% win goal, whatever your win goal is, right? Earn it, pull it, earn it, pull it, earn it, pull it. Boom, you go down. Stop loss zero has to be a thing. You go down to zero, those 20% wins, those 10% wins, it takes you 5-10 times to get back that loss. So win goals are great until you lose it all. And you got to remember that too. We've seen that in the daily paycheck, how critical it is. How critical it is to manage all that. There's so much to this, right? And I think I'm glad you're bringing it up. I think it's great. Here we go. Let's go back up here. One more thing, and I can't read this all to you, but this is from JR. Basically, I think makes a really interesting point. And I want to address this too today, because I made the comment yesterday about, and I just made it again, about stop loss zero. You should be a stop loss zero player. If you're going to be serious about earning paychecks, if you're going to be serious about winning 20%, you got to use your bankroll that you brought is there to get you what you need, right? If you're Waylon and you're playing a ladder strategy, you need the $5,000 to ladder you up in the hard times. If you're playing a Fibonacci or something like that, or the 31 that I've played sometimes, you need a massive bankroll to cover 31 units in action sometimes to make sure it's going to happen. So you need to be stop loss zero in that case. If you're playing a non-rolling strategy where you're whatever, you want enough money for 10 shooters, you got to roll it down to your 10th shooter. And that 10th shooter might work. JR points that out here. The miracle that your 10th shooter pulls it out can happen, but we got to get rid of that. He's making a point here about, in response to what I said yesterday about being happy, right? If I'm at a table, I'll be stop loss zero unless I'm just having a shitty time. And let's be honest about it. Sometimes I've lost and been happy about it. Like I've lost and been like enjoying the fight because it was a good battle, right? And I'm okay with that. Money is just the thing. Sometimes though, you're losing and you just get frustrated and it sucks. And the table's got low energy, and Jay's saying here, people at the table are giving you grief and they're heckling you and everything else because of the way you're playing, and your time becomes so unenjoyable that it's okay to leave. Fine. And that was the point I made yesterday. You've got to bug out when the game ain't fun, right? Darksider says bug out on the numbers. You see two lot, right? Get out. Jay's making a great point here. If your table time sucks, if you're getting heckled and the dealers are assholes and the players around you are whatever, that energy, why would you put up with that, right? That's a time where I would absolutely pull out before I'm at zero, right? Again, you can put your blinders on, you can put your ear puffs on, you can put your blinders on, and you can ignore all that and let the dice do the talking and not care. You can be a machine and not care. If you're going to play that way, the way I like to play, go at 6 a.m. It's going to be you and one other guy. And you can, right? Machine-like play, paycheck type play, you should be by yourself, right? You can't play paycheck style play with a table full of people. You just can't, right? Play by yourself. That's my recommendation there. I like to control my circumstance, Jay. I like to be at a table where I have some say in the energy because it's usually just me. I would rather that. If I'm there at a full table and it's people, right? It's my skill 66. We're playing right side, we're having a good time. Maybe a little skill switch, a little dark side on that, right? That's the difference, right? If I'm at that table, I'm gonna play into the vibe more often than not. I'm gonna play to the mechanics of a strategy and the paycheck mentality when I'm alone. And I think that's a key thing to kind of go with. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, this actually dovetails in, Darksider. So win goal, stop loss, money management, you're dead. And that comes in here too, right? Sometimes energy, right, is a real thing and you don't want to be there. That's cool. But you're right. If you're playing paycheck style, you've got to have stop loss. To me, stop loss is zero. Money management, get out when the getting's good, or you will crash and burn. You will absolutely crash and burn. And again, if your strategy is designed where you need all the money, you got to play all the money. You got to bring 5K to win 500. Sometimes you're going to have to ladder up and do it. That's just the way it is. All right, there we go. So I'm going to change topics today. Today's show, I screwed this up. I'll go to the table here in a second. I was going to talk about bubble craps today. We'll talk about bubble craps tomorrow because I for some reason, my titles and thumbnails today were reversed for what I wanted to talk about. Today should be this topic, so I apologize. We'll do bubble craps tomorrow. I'll show you my bubble crap strategy tomorrow in win craps, or not win craps, in Crapsy. I want to get into this because this is the thing. This is like disagreement day. Skill and Luck and I, Dylan, and Ken, who's another good friend of mine, disagree on this point. Okay. And it's really, I think, the level of aggressiveness. Ken will never get aggressive. Ken is like conservative always. Skill's conservative mostly. I'm conservative early. I want to talk about this idea of bipolar craps, where you work your rack. You saw me today working my rack. I'm going to work the shit out of my rack. Conservative early. All I care about is get my bankroll to be neutral, lock it in some profit, right? On the first or second shooter, maybe the second session, and that's it, right? I want to lock in session profit. I look at, can I make money on the shooter? Can I make money then on the session? That's the two, my two main focuses. First, profit on the shooter. Second, profit on the second. Third, pedal to the metal, right? I don't go hard until I'm there. I've got my shooter locked in. I've got my session locked in. At that point, I feel like it's okay to go hard. I miss a ton of rolls. I miss out on 50 rollers all the time because I'll wait until roll 20 when I'm in that good position before I really hit it hard. And that's okay. That's my way of playing. I think you got to be okay with that if that's your thing. But I want to look at, like, how do you get aggressive late? At what point do you do it? When are your regressions coming? How are you locking that stuff up? And what does it look like to be aggressive in the late stages of a roll? So what I like to do is this. The conservative early plays to me, and here's the ones that I think if you're going to be in this mindset, makes sense. One hit and down if you have the bankroll to support it, okay? 320 across, one hit to 64 across. If you can afford that, you need $3,000 in your rack to do it. One hit and down, good, go for it. You want to go up and down, skill 66 or the skill 110 or the skill 330, great. Get 10 times that. You want to go 110 and do a drawdown, 110 to 88 to 66, right? You want to go Lagerman style or squeeze play style, great. But take your 2 or 3 hits on the shooter, get the hell out of that hand. Then you can go hard. The question I've got for you is, how do you handle your failures? Because this happens all the time, right? You go 66 inside, you get burned. You do it again, you get burned. You do it again, you get burned. Now you're down 180, $200 basically. You're down $200. What do you do in that case? When you're down 200 and it happens, right? What I've seen people do is run the 66 on the 4th shooter, which is fine. Get set up, and then they go for the ceiling, right? Okay, now we made it. Like today, I finally made it. Let's press into oblivion, right? Or I call that spray and play. Or you can be measured in it and say, well, I got it to work. That's $50. Turn it off. Let the shooter finish. Do it again, $50. Or you can, in the same shooter, 66 to 88, back to 66, 66 to 88, and back to 66, and work $50 at a time in the same shooter even to get back your $200 before you go in. That might take you 10, 15 rolls. That's what I was talking about earlier. You might burn a bunch of rolls to get back to even on the same shooter. It's really hard. And I want you to put yourself in that mindset. What do you do in a situation like this, right? You bought him for 500, the first shooter of the day, you're playing for free at 96 across, right? And you've racked 325. You got all these bets out there. You got, these huge ass bets, 350 on the 10, $100 on the 5. You Philly pressured up, right? You did great. What are you going to do right now? I want in chat, let me ask you, what would you do in this situation? You bought in for 500. The first shooter crushed it. You racked 325 in profit. That's more than your session goal. What is that? Like 65% profit, something like that, 60% profit. That's fantastic. And on the felt, you've got 350 on the 10, you got $100 5. Your 6 made at 66, you got 9 is up to $50, and your 4 is at $100. You could pull all that down, right? You can hug the 350 and say, I'm letting all that money ride, right? You could collect 732, which is what's on the felt, and get the hell out of the casino with $1,000 profit, right? Or you could collect 632 off the felt, reset yourself to 96 across, and then try it again. What's the better move there? And I want you to look at those moves. Really think about those moves, right? One, just let it happen. I'm happy with 350. If I lose the 700, that sucks, right? I could pull all that 700 out down and keep playing at 96 and try it again. But now you're probably at roll 25 on a shooter. The chance of turning that now $96 into something special is probably zero, right? You're lucky to make another few $100 out of that thing. Or just say, you know what? We hit it. It's $1,000, a nice even number, and I'm out of here. What do you do in that circumstance? I want to know. And so, Sideshow, I had this. This is why I'm putting this out to you. The reason why I put the scenario, I was in this exact scenario last week in Vegas. I was in this exact position. Okay. Here's what I did. I didn't do any of those things. It was a morning coffee run. I was playing with a subscriber named Paul. He did great. Would have flipped the 10. He actually flipped the 10, but the 10 was set as the point 3 times. So 3 of the 10s that he hit were points. Setting the point, never got paid. I still got the 10 up to 350. Okay, I did it. I started out with him $66. Skill 66, got to 88, spread to 64 across, built the 64 across up to 325 or so in profit. And I pulled it back down to 96 at that point with 325 in the rack. And I built from 96 to what you see here. That's what I had in the rack. I had $300 in profit. I had regressed to 96 and we built it all the way up. And I'm looking at my rack. I'm going, man, I got 300 and change out here. This guy's on fire. He's about to flip the 10, actually flip the 10. There's no way I'm pulling that 10 down. I want to see that thing hit, right? And I'm like, well, I can make the rest of those bets look like $15. I can go 81 across, right? Bring them all down but the 10. What do you do in this situation, right? If you're Ken, you're leaving with $1,000. Ken would never have been there. Ken would have been gone with the 325, right? Skill would have been half pressing all the way through. I Philly special this thing to this point here, and I was really thinking about what should I do in this spot. I really want to see this thing happen, but at the same time, you know, I wasn't quite. No, I think I was in profit by this time. So what did I do? I went to 330 or 320 across. I pulled down to 320 across, evened out my bets, even pulled the 10 down. I let the 350 come back, and I profited whatever that was, $400 and change. So I had like $750 in profit in my rack. Let the 320 out there. He rolled like 3 more numbers and quit. He's 7 down. So it turned out to be a good move. He did not hit the 10 again, so I didn't miss out on the 10 being flipped. But that was my decision in the moment. It was a planned, I didn't plan it, but it was a smart regression at that time to lock up more money. Could I have gone to 96 across and had more? Sure. But I thought, what the hell? And this dovetails back to the previous point, which is bipolar craps. I worked really hard. It took me 15, 20 rolls to get to where I had that 325 in the rack, right? Which represented not only session profit, shooter profit, session profit, and it put me over the hump for the week. That was the one that put me over the hump for the week in Vegas. And now I'm like, hey, cool, I got profit for the entire trip. Should I stay down here or pull back? I want you to think about what you would do in that situation, right? Dan says go to 96, right? Sideshow says, you want to see that? Yeah, like I said, I saw that, man. It was pretty cool. That guy, if he wouldn't have set the freaking 10 as the point, he'd have flipped that 10 twice. I would have made $1,000 on the 10 2 times. For sure. And I can tell you this, the casinos don't like this. I think Darkside is saying, they don't like when you do this kind of stuff. They don't like regressions. They think you're nuts. The dealers want you to go like crazy. It's funny. And anyway, let's head back. I'm going to roll some dice. I'm going to go to the table for a little bit. Let me turn the light on. And excuse me. Let's play. And again, apologies again for the sniffles and stuff, but that's my life right now. I have a cold. Let's play a little bit. And while I'm back here, I'm going to let you off on a little announcement. This is an announcement about the show's schedule for next week. I may have lied to you. I'm gonna have to reset my whole rack here. It looks like I'm going to I'm gonna go with $400 in the rack. We're gonna do the 66 again. Let's try and recreate the magical roll that we had there. My work is changing yet again, and I think I may not actually have my schedule. I think I may have to go back to 9 to 5. I may need to pick up some day classes teaching. So I don't know yet if I can reverse the shows. So pending what happens this week, I'll let you know. The paycheck may just stay at 7 o'clock in the morning. We may be able to switch it, but it looks like right now that's not the case. So I think it's going to be the same schedule we have now, which kind of sucks. I really wanted to have that paycheck be a little longer, but we can't. There's a 9. Let me actually change this. Sorry, I've got you on the zoomed in view instead of the big view. There, now you can see the dice landing. So, all right, here we go. We got a point of 9. We're going to go 66 inside. So we're going to go drop $75. That means we're going to get how much back? $9 back. $9 and change. We get the hard ways with that always. And let's go. 66 inside, including the point. And let's try. And what I'm hoping to see here is just a little bit of juice. Maybe we lose one and work to rebuild the rack. I may even show you how you play the Loggerman at this level. There's so many ways to play this out. I want to give you some options here. I want to give you some options on, here's a 3, on not just a 66 style of play, but more of an across style play. We can compare this to, later on I'll show you, we can compare it to the tier pressure opening move. Okay, there's a 7. We're going to lose that, all of it. So there's $70 out. I'm going to drop $75, same bet, get back a nickel and change, okay? So now we're down, right? We got to manage our rack a little bit. We're down. We have 250 left out of the 400. We're set back up. The puck is going to be off. Bets are off. Let's have our shooter do something special here. There's a 5-2. This will probably be like yesterday, right? Where we're going to just kind of burn it. Wow, 2 7s. That's 3 7s in a row. If you're keeping track at home, 3 7s in a row. 7 out, 2 come out 7s. There's a 9. Back to the same point. 6-3. Okay, here we go. Let's make it happen. I'm chasing 66. There's a 5. Let's see what we can do here. There's a 5, a 3-2-5. That'll pay $21. We're going to drop a nickel, get 4 change, because we're going to press them all 1 unit. Here we go. By now, you all know the move. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to actually put the numbers, the money back here behind them, just to make it easier for the give back. Watch how this all works. Here we go. This is our press. The press is behind instead of on top. I'm just doing it to make the dealing easier. Here we go. That's 1 hit. That was a 5. There's the freaking 7. Okay, we lose it again. That's actually not the worst thing. Okay, let's take all this away. This almost paints the picture that we had before. That's 2 losses, right? So another $75 goes out. Another $5 comes back. Same bet. Wow, how bad. 415. 415, there's our new point. Can we get 2 hits, please, sir? Can we get 2 hits? No, we cannot. 3 straight PSOs. Good gravy. All right. $75, 5 change. My God. Look at us go. Nothing you can do here, right? The right side, sometimes it's going to get you. There's a midnight. There's a midnight. We have work to do. We have to build that rack back up. Hard 10. All right, shooter, let's go. Let's go, shooter. 8, easy 8. 8, easy 8. Okay, we're going to lose the hard 8, which is over here. I will drop $2 out of my rack. 1 to replace the hard way. 1 to match the 21. And again, I'm going to put these in the back for right now. And here we go. Let's get a second inside number. We got a 5. Sweet. All right. What do I do in this case? First of all, we're going to get paid $28. So I'll always do 30 for 2. 30 for 2. And then back down to 66, please. So I'm going to put a green chip over here, a red chip over here. I'm going to pull the $21 back to my rack, $22 back to my rack. Okay, and there we go. That's the first one. Now, for this particular shooter, we're out 16 bucks. As it stands right now, I pulled back $50 to the rack. I'm down 16 bucks for this shooter. I like to do this in the rack in the casino. I won't do this, but for your purposes, I will. Every time I get 5 reds, I'm going to check change. Okay. In the real casino, I put the reds over here until the greens come back, but that's how we're going to do it. Now, I have 2 choices. One, actually 3. 1, turn them off. Turn it all off and let the roll happen. That's option 1. Option 2, do it again. Run 66 inside again. Try and get another 50 bucks back in the rack. Option 3, spread out the 64 across and try for a hot roll. Okay. This is the bipolar craps thing. All right. If I want to be aggressive and say, hey, the strategy was 64 or 66 inside so I can play across, and I'm going to do that and try for the hot roll right now, that's an aggressive move, right? To me, what I've been doing is not doing that. What I found that's worked for me is to try and get it a second time. Let's get lucky here. Let's try and get lucky if we can. There's an 11. And watch how I'm going to try to get this to work. And again, I'm gonna use all the tools that I got in my belt here, right? Easy 8 again, which sucks. So it's $21. I'm going to drop $2. 1 to make the 22 press, 1 to replace the hard 8. Here we go. We can get another inside hit here. If we can, that'll be $100 on this shooter, on this particular shooter. We're not going to have made our money back yet. There's a 1, 2, 3, but we're going to make back about one of those losses. We're chasing 3 losses. There's a 5, 4, 1, 5. So again, it pays $28, 25, 20. I don't have any whites, so 28 bucks. Whoops. We'll put the greens back here. I will rack the green, and I will take back the 22. Okay, and again, I can take a nickel out of here, make those reds feel like green chips, and go back to my rack with it and put the $2 in the back. Now look where we are. Okay, again, I've got 66 out here. Okay, I have my hard waves, which have done nothing for me so far. We're back at 2 1/4. I'm looking at my rack at the casino going, well, I got 2 1/4 in here, right? I'm still down 175. Now, if you take this out, the 70 bucks that's out here, I'm down 100. Okay, so you have basically this 75 makes this feel like 300. So I'm down 100 bucks. I'm still chasing 100. Mr. Conservative has a choice to make. Do I try and do the 66 one more time on this shooter, right? Or do I spread out now and go for it? If I spread out and go for it, there's no pulling back, right? When I go to 64 across, even if I half press, I've got no chance of making 50 bucks. It's going to take another 8 rolls to make $50. So what I've been doing is exactly this. If I'm on it, I'm going to try and hopefully stay on it. If I get a 7 here, it would have hurt me either way. There's a 6. Again, it's an easy 6. We're going to lose that. We're going to get paid 21 bucks. I'm going to drop 2. 1 goes back to the hard 6. Pressure 22. One more inside hit. Let's get it. There's a yo 11 yo. Does not matter. And there's the 7. So we don't catch the fire, right? If I'd have gone 64 across, it would have been the exact same thing. No difference in the result. I gave myself a chance to win the 66 here. So we're going to lose our little press. I'll put the hard ways back out, and we'll leave the 66 out there. I'm going to drop again 75 bucks. 75 for 5, and we'll do it again. Got back 1. But see what I'm doing here? I hope this makes sense, right? This super conservative early play thing that I'm doing here is attempting to help me build this back. I'm not willing to put my foot on the gas pedal until I'm happy in here, right? Until I've got where I need to be on the inside or in the rack. I just got to get that thing set up in a happy place. There's a 10 again, 6, 4, 10. Here we go. Let's get the inside hits. Let's make it happen. There's a 5. So again, it's 21. I'll drop my dollar. We'll make it look like 22. And again, I'm just putting the presses in the back because they're always going to come back down to us. There's a 9, 549. So we hit the press, which is great, right? That pays $28. Again, 30 for 2 on the payment, and bring it back down to 66. 30 for 2. Bring the $22 back. Okay, I'll put the whites up here. I'll take 25 in red and make it a quarter. Check change. 175 over there. We got to do it again. We got to keep working this inside until I'm clean. I'm not ready to go full press. Let's go to the crazy thing yet. I'm not ready to do it yet. Okay, 8 pays 21. 21. Drop a buck to make it 22. My other dollar goes to replace that hard 8 that would have lost. Okay, we're back in business. Here's our 22 bucks. Another inside hit, please. Mr. Shooter, can you do it? Yes, we got a repeater on the 8. Another easy 8. So again, $28, 25, $28, and pull me down to 66. I'm gonna bring these all down. If I look at what I got back here, look at that. Hey, that's 2 green chips, 25. Love it, right? It's always 50 bucks coming back, which is fantastic. Look at the rack, 2 1/4 in the rack, 70 bucks out here. We're in the same spot we were before. Again, I think it's better for us to try this again versus going across and shooting the ceiling. I think our better move is here. Now, again, we 7 out before that gets to happen. We're in this weird little phase where we're fighting a little too hard, right? If I can pull it off a couple of times, we'll be in good shape. There's 75 for 5. Let's go. New point coming. New point is a 9. Let's roll it here. And this is the case too, by the way, where the skill switch would be fantastic. Having the don't pass down here is even better. There's a 5. So again, it'll pay 21. I'm going to drop a nickel here. We'll get 5 change. We'll make it look like 22. Let's see if we can't make some money here today. Can we fight this thing back? Fight the good fight, please. There's another 5. Awesome. Awesome sauce. 4-1. Drop 2. 30 for 2 on the payment, and bring the bets down. So there's a green. There's a bunch of reds. Actually, there's 4, 5 reds. I'm changing it up so you can see the rack building. Again, you'd have to use reds in real life to do it, but there it is. Again, I'm going to run this again. It's my best way to make a quick 50 bucks. If I spread the 64 across, that 7 still kills you. Either way, that 7's going to get you. I think the better way to do it is to try it a second time. Here we go. One more time. One more time, baby. 75 for 5, same bet. We got to catch a good run here at some point, huh? There's a 4-3-7 come out. Today's not my day. Down, upstairs or downstairs. 1, 2, 3. There's aces. Boy, look at the all tall small here, right? Aces. Ace deuce came. There's the 4. We got the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Sauce. Here we go. Come on, shooter. Do it right. There's a 10, 6, 4, 10. Easy. So we lose the hard 10. Replace the hard. Hard ways are bleed today, boy. They ain't doing nothing for us. There's a 5. All right. $21. We'll drop a buck. Let's go, skill. Make it happen, baby. Make it happen. We lost it. Not our day, man. Not our day today. Whew. I can't show you bipolar craps if I don't win nothing, right? $75. Here it is. We had enough. We had enough today. We brought in enough for 4 shooters, or 4 losses. 75 for 5, and we're here. There's 50 bucks. We're down to our last $75. We can do it one more time if we fail in here. Right? Trust your strategy to do the right thing. That's what this is all about. I will go long today, by the way. If I either going to lose it all or we're going to make money. There's a hard 10. That's our point. We need some Inside juice. All right, 21 bucks. There's one from my rack. There's one from the dealer. Give me an inside number. Give me an inside number. There's an 8. There's an 8. All right, $28. And 22 coming back. Looks like 50 bucks. Boom. Let's work it. Let's work it. Let's be conservative early and aggressive late. Just need our shooter to do something special here. 628. All right, that's going to pay 21. We're going to drop a buck. I'm going to borrow $1 from my neighbor to replace that hard way. I'm going to put it over here. I got to pay my neighbor back a buck at some point. So let's not forget that. I don't want to break a quarter for that. Freaking hell. 7. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Cannot seem to get 2 or 3 in a row like we need. All right, last shot. This might be our last shot. We've only got 50 bucks left. All right, let's go. Did I get my 5 change? I didn't. Hard force the point. Sorry, Skill. Today's not the day. Your strategy today is getting its ass handed to it. 6, 4, 10. Can our last shooter be the one? No, the last shooter burns it all. We lose it all. Bummer, man. What a bummer. I'm going to have to call it here. Wow, what a horrible day. What a horrible, horrible shooting day that was. Man alive. Let me go back over here. Let's go here. I'm sorry. My throat, my nose just went away from me here. Well, that was a terrible example. I was trying to show you how to get the bankroll rebuilt and then go hard. We never got the bankroll rebuilt. Lost what we lose 3 in a row to start this thing off. We lost like 4 out of 5, whatever it was. Bummer, dude. Didn't work out. We'll keep at it though. I'm not I'm not concerned about that. I wish it was a better demo, but it is what it is, right? Yeah, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that too. And you know what? The thing of it is, and I think this is important, right? I wish that would have worked, right? And let me be honest with you. I wish it would have worked. When you have a show planned, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about being conservative early in the roll. I want to talk about losing a couple of times, inching it back, getting to profit level, and then doing the thing. It would have been great if the dice played along, right? I would love to have lost twice, won 3 or 4 times, and then had a nice run at the end to show you how this whole thing is supposed to work. The reality is it ain't going to work that way, right? That's the reality of it. It's good to see the reality. I get kind of upset when the dice don't help me teach. Like I could have, this is the thing, right? I could have preset things up and mapped out the perfect run and pre-recorded it. So you see exactly what I want you to see. But the reality is the reality of it. The dice aren't always going to help me out. And I think we get to see that here. So that's unfortunate, but whatever. Next time we'll keep at it. We'll keep at it, and maybe the next time we'll have a better run. I do have to go though. It's about a little past 9. My throat's killing me. I can't really talk anymore. So hope that today was good. Hope that everybody enjoyed it. I'm going to check. I'm going to check, by the way, the questions. Make sure I didn't miss anything that we have to address here. Glasses got to go on for this. I'm sorry. And I know that Darksider had a ton to say about the other thing. I hope that I addressed it. He says, why do all strats fail? Because they play mechanically regardless of circumstances. It's not smart play. And again, I will make the point again here. And I can't make it clearly enough, okay? If you play your way and you dodge, right? You pick up on something. Too many 7s on the come out, or too many points being made, and you pull back your best and you don't play. You're just not losing for a period of time. There's no guarantee when you come back that you won't still lose on the comeback, right? Again, the strategies go to 0 either in 300 or 1,000 or 2,000 rolls. They will always eventually go to 0, even if you code in smart decisions, like not playing in certain conditions. It still will ride you out, right? That's the math of the game will always ride you out. You can win way more often, and you can pull paychecks way more often if you do what Darksider says, which is pay attention to your bankroll, have a good win goal, and bug out when you get a chance. okay? Rather than mechanically playing it and losing in 300 rolls, you can mechanically play it and profit, lose at the very end, lose once instead of losing 3 or 4 times. There's a difference there. And that's, I think, what you're trying to say. And I think I want to make sure I clarify that. You can lose immediately, you can lose in the long term, or you can lose 5 times in the short, like 5 separate short runs you can lose. You got to be smart. I think you're so right about that. You got to be smart. You got to recognize the conditions and either not bet or bet low until it changes for you. I think a smart player makes money because they bet the trend. I hate to say the word trend. They bet the streak. You're betting low when it's not good for you. You're betting high when it is. That's the way that you overcome this stuff. And I don't believe in not betting, but I do believe in reduced betting. So I really believe that. Let's see. What else do we have here? Yeah, I know your unicorn is designed for that skill, but it's a loser. Like, I mean, I love you. Strategy's got great thought to it, right? It's got a ton of thought to it. But yesterday, I threw 3 come out 9s. It would have destroyed that strategy yesterday. It just, the hole is big on some strategies. And it's a small window, but it's a big dollar amount. And sometimes it's too much to overcome. And that's why I'm always careful about it. Like these things like the Butterbird, great example. That 150 lay with the don't, that's a lot to overcome. You get picked on that thing, you got to work for 5 shooters to catch it back, right? That's why I don't like these enormous lays and enormous hedges and all these big spreads, because when it goes down, and it will go down, it takes 3 or 4 shooters or a miracle to get it back. I don't want to play for a freaking miracle. That's, I think, where I get antsy on some of these things. That's the only reason why. I don't want to require a miracle. Here I lost 5 times in a row. $66 5 times in a row. It's not a big deal. That you can recover without a miracle. If it was $66 plus $100 lay or whatever, now I got to fight back 3 times as hard. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. So there we go. Let's see what else is being said here. Other things. You never know when Ted is coming. Oh, you're saying when red is coming. I do like the half press too. I think the half press is, and I'll put this up here so we can see it. The half press is great. I think the half press, though, in my personal opinion, only is good when you're at least at green level. The half press at red level takes way too long to get to green. You can't make any money down there. Okay, I'm definitely of the mind of if once I get to that where I'm going to go across 64, 96 across, I've got to get the bets to green before I'll start half pressing. I'd rather have them be even higher than that, like at 50s. But half pressing to me is I don't want to say nonsensical, but it's nonsensical until you're at green levels. When you're at $10, bringing $6 back doesn't help you. It takes too long to get them up there, too many hits. Get them up high and then do it. Let's see. All right, never bet up to PSO. Yeah, I mean, again, you're all saying things that are, I hate to say it like this, nonsense, right? If you don't get to it within 3 points, regress tail minimum, and then half press the winners. Okay, I mean, the 7's going to come take your money either way, right? Again, I think you trust the strategy to work or you don't. If you don't think it's going to work, don't play it, right? I like to play the inside press up and down. I enjoy that style of play. I'll play it. You can go 64 across for the exact same risk and get your ass kicked just the same way. There's no difference, right? I said it last week. Choose the way you want your ass to be kicked. You're going to get in a fight. You're in a fight. You're going to get beat most of the time, or you're going to get beat at some point. Choose your way. Choose your way. Corey, switch to the dark side. Sure, right? And I beat that strategy up a little bit too, right? Choose the way you want to play. That's what it comes down to. Choose the way you want to play based on your bankroll, based on your soul, how you want to do it. If you think not betting for a while is the best move, God be with you. If you think going all in is the best move, God be with you. You got to enjoy your play. My role here is to show you all the ways to play. All the ways, all the holes, the good, the bad, the ugly, and make sure you understand the math. The math doesn't give a shit. If you take off 50 rolls and come back in, it doesn't matter. You've got to look at the probability of 36 roll probability based on the rolls that you're active for. If you take 2 rolls on, 50 rolls off, 2 rolls on, you're 4 rolls into your 36. That's the way you have to look at this. There's no other way to talk about this game unless you understand that simple point. If you're 2 rolls off and 50 rolls on, your 36 rolls is going to take you 500 rolls to get to, but you're still going to be exposed for 36 rolls. You're going to lose 1/6 of those bets, period. That's just the math of the game. So I don't believe necessarily that pulling back or not playing is always a smart move. Now, maybe for you it is, but I'm telling you, the dice don't care. The math of this game, long term, it doesn't matter. So there it is, guys. I love all of you. You know this, right? I give you grief. I like to chat back and forth, but that's just the fact of the matter. And I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna BS you and tell you that not playing for a certain period of time is the best play to make. And maybe the best play for you in your brain, the math doesn't care. The math will still get you in the end. That's why the casinos have so much money and we necessarily don't. So anyway, thanks for being here. Love y'all. And God bless y'all. See you tomorrow. Hopefully I feel better and I can talk like a human again. So that's it. Have a great, what is it? Have a great Wednesday. See ya. Bye.